Okay, hi everyone. My name is Christian Sanchez, and today I'm going to be presenting to you a topic that I thought was interesting and that I found a lot of good data on, which is motorcycle accidents in the county of Monroe, New York. And basically, what I want to show you guys is how you guys can create an Excel sheet, an Excel presentation to show, for example, your employer, or like I'm doing today, my fellow classmates on whatever topic you choose to do it on. So I chose to do it on motorcycle crashes once again in Monroe, New York. So pretty much where I got my data from was a website called opendata.socrata.com. And basically I like this website because it gives you the option to export the data that you find into an Excel sheet. So basically what ended up happening after I I went on the I went on the I exported it was I came across it doesn't look like this, it's just the data. And what I did here was insert table, and this is what it pops up to, which I have here in my other Excel sheet. It pops up to something like this that looks like this. So then from there what I did was created a pivot table. So you would go and hit that, and you would just hit OK, and you would create a sheet where you can go ahead and pretty much create a table like I did. So the first table that I'm going to show you guys that I created was the number of injuries, serious injuries, and fatalities that occurred in each of the years that I'm doing my presentation on, which was from 2010 to 2015. So I did all of that, and I created a bunch of these. And how you create this is you're here, right? You can go ahead and click on right here any of these tabs to show what data you want to present. So for example, for my let's go into a different one. So for example, for the ages that I wanted to do, I went over here and I clicked on driver age, and I clicked on number of injuries, serious injuries, and fatalities. And then from there, all I did was group my data right here in the data tab. I did group, and I grouped it and so it could be in intervals that were easier to understand rather than just having every single one of the data entries that I recovered from the website. So yeah, this is another really useful table that I created because I kind of wanted to figure out, is it really true what people say that teenagers are the ones who most often get into motorcycle accidents or any type of car accident, for example, or things like that, which I will discuss later on. Also, another thing that I wanted to discuss was weather conditions, whether the weather conditions of the time of accident have an impact on the number of crashes that happen. So pretty much I included these two as well because I wanted to tell you guys that you can also um, pick and choose. Like you can instead of having all three of them, you can actually just create three separate ones. So instead of these two being all linked together, you can actually just go ahead and do um, the weather condition and the number of injuries. So what you would do here is you would go ahead and just click number of injuries, and then you would insert another pivot table right here. So you would just click on any random cell, and you would go ahead and click pivot table. And so basically, yeah, that's what I did. But for me, I like to show everything, like number of injuries, serious injuries, and fatalities, because to me, it is just how I view things, that it doesn't really matter if someone died or was just injured. I mean, it's still um, a crash, it's still an unfortunate event. And like, you never know, you might not hurt yourself, but you can hurt other people that perhaps weren't driving the motorcycle, like cars or people or a pedestrian or something like that. So yeah. And then finally, for my last pivot table, I did the time of day. I initially wanted to do the time that the crash happened because I had that data available to me, but it was just so much, and I couldn't format the times in a way that were easy to see. So I just decided to go with this, with the how the what time of day the crash occurred. And once again, I have all three of these. But like I said, you could just pick and choose. If you just wanted to show injuries, you would just show injuries and you would unclick these, and they would kind of just like disappear like that. But I kind of wanted to show everything, you know. So, and then finally, so that's how you make um, the tables pretty much. And then in order for you to get what I'm going to show you next, which is a dashboard, which means it's all the charts so your audience can see better what you're talking about and what the data actually really means, you can go ahead and just go here in the insert tab and you can go ahead and click recommended charts. And from here, you pick whichever chart you feel fits your data best. A pie chart, a line graph, whatever you want, and you would hit OK, and automatically it would use whatever data is here in your pivot table to create that chart. So this is exactly what I did for each and every one of them, and basically what I did was I just cut them from, let's say, so let me show you. So I pretty much went into recommended charts, insert recommended charts, and for this one I remember I did a stacked column, and so you would see, you would get that right there, and all you would do would just hit Control X or Command X depending if you have a Mac or a Windows, and you could just cut that and paste it on wherever you want, which I posted it here. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Um, so yeah, pretty much that's what I did for all of these, for the time of day, the weather conditions, the age, and the year, things that were mostly interesting to me and that I wanted to share with you guys. I think those are the most important things. I had other things such as what did I have? Let's see. So I had other things such as number of injuries or the intersection or the crash type or things like that, or the day of the week, which I really didn't think was relevant. I mean, I think this is more important, and I also didn't want to bombard you guys with too much information. So yeah, this table right here, I forgot to label it, sorry. This is the number of, this is by year. So pretty much it shows the the years and the number of fatalities, the number of serious injuries, and the number of just injuries. Um, and they're color coded. So the blue is the number of injuries, the sum of the number of injuries for that year. The orange is the orange represents the number of serious injuries, and the gray represents the number of fatalities. Thank God that number isn't high. So yeah, so basically after you create your table, you also have, I mean your chart, you also have the option of creating a slicer. And basically what a slicer is pretty much a way for you to like filter through your data and make it easier for your audience to see what you want to show them, really specifics of what of pretty much what you want to show them, specifics of your data. So for example, if I wanted to show you guys on if I wanted to show you guys the number of crashes in the years 2012 2015, all I would do would be to all I would have to do was click 2012, and then I would uh, hold down Control and click 2015, and that would show you guys those 2 years and the number of crashes that occurred. Now on the flip side, if I wanted to go ahead and show you guys exclude data, for example, I wanted to exclude certain years that I was not interested in, I would hold down the Control key on my Windows and I would hit the left key and hit the years that I'm not interested in showing you guys, and that would exclude them from the table altogether. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's what I have here. This is by the year and the number of crashes that happened within that year. This here is by age, the number of crashes that happened with the according to the driver's age. So as I mentioned earlier, it is kind of true that most of the crashes happen within the age group of 15 to 24 years old, followed by 25 to 34 years old. But something that I've never thought would be possible would be a person who was 108 years old who was involved in a motorcycle crash and actually survived to tell the tale. Like, it was not a fatality, it was just an injury, thank God. And as you can see here, I'm not lying. This is my data, and you can see here it says driver age vehicle 108 years old. Have that on top to show you guys. So yeah, it's pretty much like anyone can get into a motorcycle accident. And then here were the crashes based on the time of day. Something that I thought was and it turns out to be a myth, was that most of the motorcycle accidents happen at night or in severe weather, and that actually happened to be a myth. It's not true at all. So as you can see here from all the data that was collected from these 5 years, most of the motorcycle accidents happened in broad daylight, as you can see here by this brown color, followed by a dark road that was lighted, and then here unlighted roads. And very minimal crashes happened at dawn or at dusk, which was very surprising to me. I thought it would be kind of the opposite, that more crashes would occur at dawn or dusk, or even in an unlighted road. But no, most of the crashes happened in broad daylight. And also the same thing is true with the weather conditions. It happens that most of the crashes, about like the same thing here, almost three-fourths of the crashes happen in just plain clear weather, followed by cloudy, rain, snow, and then fog, smoke. At first, I thought that most of the crashes would happen in like severe weather, like snow or rain, or even like fog, where you can't really see anything. But no, most of the crashes happens in just broad daylight, with clear weather, with the road with the weather conditions being clear. So yeah, this is pretty much my presentation that I wanted to show you guys today. And yeah, just I picked this topic because I think it's really interesting. I feel like we're in an age where a lot of us want to show that we're like really cool and really badass, but I just wanted to show that you need to be careful, because you never know like what can happen. And something that I wish I would have shown, and that I would have been provided with, was data showing the speed at which these people were going in, because I think that would help too. I think speed is such a big has a big influence on whether or not a person dies or a person is just injured. So that's also a thing I wish I would have had available to me, but I didn't. And so yeah, this concludes my presentation, guys. I hope you guys, if you ever want to own a motorcycle or be ride on one, I just hope you guys are safe and take these things that I've shown you guys today into consideration. So yeah, thank you guys.